This is my reaction on the recall of Esther Muthoni Parsaris and any other recall, especially on matters of women rape. And you have to recall that among the women rape, senator or even governor, Nairobi is a super constituency compared to others. It is the biggest county in number, as far as the number of registered voters is affected. But first and foremost, let me talk about my personal interest in her. It is always good to talk about the subject if the subject affects you personally, either positively or negatively. People tend to hide. You may talk about somebody who is your enemy, or you may talk about somebody who is your friend without declaring, and that is unfair. Now, this is what I'll have to talk about Parsaris. Elders usually use their phone to the last day. An elder, in many cases, use the phone until it is unusable again. Younger people usually regularly update their phones before it gets out of use. A younger person will have used it, but an elder usually uses it until he or she cannot use it any further. So during that time, when we interacted with the Honorable Parsaris, I had a phone which was approaching its expiry date, and it could switch off and on anytime. So when Huatengeres was trying to call me several times, my phone was off. And when I switched on the phone, I found several missed calls. Plus, she had forwarded an SMS to me which she had gotten. It being in the evening, I just did not call her back but waited until we arrived at home so that we share the experience. My reaction to the SMS, this was an SMS that was talking about scholarship. Scholarship, where Kwatengereza had been told that she was successful in her application for the NG, what do you call it? Anyway, the bursary sent by the women rep. I only had two questions to Kwatengeres concerning the SMS. I wanted to know if she had applied for a scholarship, and if those people who had told her that her quest for a scholarship was successful. I wanted to know whether those people have asked for any money from her. In the first question, she told me, yes, she had applied. She had applied for scholarship for our two kids. And the second one was, the first one is that she had, a friend of hers had shared the application form with her, and she had applied. And the second was that nobody has asked her for even a single cent. And I said, if you have applied for scholarship and nobody has asked you for any single cent, then most probably is that we are successful, or you are successful. I then told her that we should try it out. Only that a day's earning, we people who are not formally employed would lose a day's work, and even on that day we would also lose money for fare. Imagine if you get, let's say, 500 shillings per day, and then on the same day, you are supposed to use 500, say, fare to that place and back and the food and whatever. So we will only lose the money which you would have earned that day, and we'll also lose the money that we would have used going to that place and coming back. We later learned that the lady who had introduced Watengeres to this, what do you call, bursary thing about women rep bursary, was not lucky. But wherever she is, God should bless her. God should bless her, because she got an idea of a bursary, and she shared with Watengeres, and she didn't succeed, but Watengeres succeeded. Obviously, she was not a Luhya person. I am sorry to the Luhya people, but I'm one of them. But a Luhya person would not have shared that information with you. Let me tell you, I've stayed in Nairobi for so many years. A Luhya person gets an information that there is something like a bursary or something, money or things are being shared here and there. A Luhya will not tell you that there's such a thing. A Luhya will just apply himself or herself without informing you. And in the future, if that thing turns out to be a con, that is when the Luhya will tell you, hey, I was conned here and there. But other people, especially Kisses, I don't know the tribe of this lady. I hope most likely she's a Kisi, because Kisi will always want to share such things with others. Aluya will not tell you. He or she will just apply alone. And if that thing happens to be a con and he or she has been conned, that is when he or she will involve you. But a Kisi getting something where there is a chance of earning something like, what do you call? There is a chance that it could end up with success. A Kisi will share with other people, especially a fellow Kisi. So I would, whoever that woman is, and wherever she is, I would really thank her for having shared the information with Watengeres, which we became successful. The SMS had said that the bursaries would be given starting from 8 a.m. Those direction of Kinakayole, somewhere in Kayole. So the SMS had said that people should be in that church by 8 a.m. But by 7:30, we had already arrived there, me and Watengeres. We had already taken two different vehicles up to town, and then from town, then we had taken another matatu to Kayole. And by 7:30 a.m. we were there. After reaching there, we found that we entered that church and found that they were preparing tents. They were preparing. That is when we went to a kiosk to take a cup of tea. People started arriving. People started arriving at 10 a.m. Remember, the SMS had said you arrive by 8, and people started, beneficiaries started arriving at 10 a.m. And Parsaris herself arrived at noon. Watengeres had made application for our two boys. So we agreed that we split the chase. Since if you are to go there and say, I want to find out if boy L, can I call it long boy, and boy S, but a short boy. Yeah, we could say boy L and boy S had applied, and you go there as a parent for two. It may be discovered, and maybe you'd be asked maybe for one boy only. So we agreed, the two parents, that she goes and inquires about one boy, and I go and inquire about the other boy, so that at the later as that, it should not be known that she had applied for two boys. But it later came out, and we found that only one of the boys had been successful. We came to discover that one of the boys had been successful. But the trick here was, if you go there and say, I'm coming to look for boy L and boy S, could we say long boy and short boy? It would have been discovered that two brothers had one, and maybe one would be disqualified or something, that so that other families do that. We split. One parent went for to check the list if there was one boy, and the other parent went that, but we found only one boy had succeeded. Parsaris looks like more of an Indian. She looks more like an Indian. But in that meeting, the theme there was Luo, and the politics were ODM. You would think that it was a Luo affair, and you would think it is an ODM affair. But her physical appearance, she looks more of an Indian than even an African. But for this, I'll be eternally grateful for her. For the school, for the bursary was not just the 5,000 that is paid per child, but the bursary was paid double that. Yeah, so I had to first of all talk about her, because when you talk about somebody whom you have had interaction with in the past, without mentioning that, it would be unfair. If you have had an interaction, be it good or bad, it is good to declare it first, so that whoever reads has that in mind. One thing I wanted to talk about women rep. I've seen that Parsaris has contested women rep in Nairobi for all the time it has been there, because in 2013 she contested but lost. 2017 she contested and won, and 2022 she contested and won again. We cannot rule out her contesting in 2027. In fact, if she contests 2027, because of what she did, unless something very serious happens, I think in 2027 I have to vote for her. For any seat that she may be there, unless she's appearing on the same ballot, on the same position with KJ. If she's appearing on the same with KJ, maybe I'll have to think about it. So the question is, what was the intention of the women rep? Don't we need let's say a term limit? Because my understanding is, as it is now, you can contest, somebody can contest for the women rep as many times as possible. Maybe such a seat, it was there. I may be wrong, but I think those were seats which were meant to expose women to leadership. If she has been elected maybe twice or something, then maybe she could try another thing, so that another woman can also contest that. And also, women rep is a good position, because look at the county called Kisii. Do you have a member of the National Assembly, or even the senator, deputy governor, and governor who is a lady? No. The only position that is there of national stature in Kisii County is that one of women rep. So it should be okay for women who has been elected once or twice also to speak, because people have already seen your capabilities. So I think we should all have it, whether written or through practical, that in the future somebody does not occupy the position of women rep forever. Actually, the Constitution of Kenya says that women rep is there to represent the interest of women. Nowhere is it written in that Constitution of Kenya that the occupier should be a woman. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that as a man, if I go around the county and convince both men and women, that is the registered voters in that county, if I can convince them that I'm the best placed person to look into the welfare of women in that county, then I can be elected as the women rep for that place. It is my understanding, my reading of the constitution is that women rep position is meant for a person who can best serve the purposes of women. It is not definitely said that it has to be a woman. Of course, maybe if you contest, people will not just vote for you because of their misreading of that, or even people will just say that the position is created to increase the number of women in leadership position. That is my reading of the Constitution of Kenya. So I think we should have it written proper so that it is written that it is just practically for women on women affairs. We should even have a situation where men don't vote for the woman. Why should you vote for a position that you are not qualified to hold? And why should you vote for? This is a vote that is to take care of women affairs and whatever. Why can't we leave it for women alone? Anyway, those are my views. Well, everything has its ups and downs, and women rep, that is the advantage or disadvantage of it. Because why should I, as a man, vote for a woman who is going to address on issues to do with women alone? Although, do we really have issues to do with women alone? They are very, very little. Almost everything is to do with all people. For example, when Huatengeres applied for our two sons to be for our two sons to get scholarship, if we were to go strictly on issues of women rep, then women are supposed to apply for those. Yeah, of course, Huatengeres applied for that. Then do we even say that when scholarship came and the boys, one of my boys got it, and the kids who got were both boys and girls? Don't we even have to say that it is for? It should be girls sponsorship or anything? Can't we say that we should look for maybe a TVET or something that is strictly for women? That is why we are saying that in life, it is really hard to, as days go on, it is going to be really hard to define things which are strictly for men and strictly for women. Because that boy who was given double bursary, first of all, is a boy. Two, he's my son. eh? So, and then it was given by women rep. So, okay, it is that she was giving a fellow woman, reducing school fees for a fellow woman. But when my wife's expenses are reduced, don't you think mine is also being reduced? Anyway, we need somebody to take that thesis for his or her PhD. Removing any women rep, if, removing any women rep, obviously, replacing her is easier said than done. Even removing a constituency MP is really hard. But removing a women rep is really hard. And not just a women rep, Nairobi women rep. Fulfilling the condition is by far 1,000 times harder than a normal election. You know, Parsaris is a leader in three different formations just by being the Nairobi women rep. One, she's a member of parliament. Two, she's a member of parliament, a woman rep. And three, she's a woman rep for Nairobi. It's really hard. Now, let us take any other recall, like an MP, a member of the National Assembly. It is said that you have to look for signatures. You have to look for signatures, which is I don't know how much, certain percentage. Let's say 30%. Let us just give an example of X percentage of all the registered voters. And then again, there is that percentage of wards, How many wards are there in Nairobi? God knows how many. So it becomes harder and harder. And when you count for a normal election, what am I talking of a normal election? I'm talking of a normal election in the election of general election. I'm also talking of a normal election in a by-election. A by-election that has been brought about by the death or disqualification through an election court of an elected member. It means that even when it, first of all, in those elections, you don't have to go around looking for signatures. Once you look for signatures, again, when it comes to a re-election, again, people have got to reach a certain percentage. It is really hard. So, yes, you can surmount the mountain and remove the candidate. Then you have to have a by-election, and still Parsaris can still win in that election, isn't it? You can use all that condition that has been given there by the constitution, and then a by-election is called, and then Parsaris or any other what do you call, member of the National Assembly, or even member a women rep still wins that election. In an ordinary election, by an ordinary election, as I've said, I'm talking of an election where the MP has died, the election court has nullified it, and whatever. We can have three voters to vote. And when we have three voters to vote, you find that in those three voters who have voted, two will vote one way and one will vote the other way. In that instance, you find that if two vote one way and the others vote in another way, whoever will have gotten the two votes will be elected the MP. But what happens in a recall? In a recall, the what do you call? The conditions are high. You have to fulfill a certain condition. We have to find a middle way. We shouldn't make it easier for recall. We should not make it easier for recall, because Kenyans are the way we know it. If it is easy, then we'll be having elections every 6 months, and yet again we should not make it almost impossible for a recall in any Kenya, in any circumstance. We should have it in such a way that where recall should be hard and still be easy for someone to be elected. So that is why we are saying that let us have it in such a way that we have a recall which is average, which is neither easy nor hard, so that if it is easy, the electors will become very petty and will, in 5 years, you will have almost all elections a recall. And if we have to make it very hard, it will have made it in such a way that it is a bit difficult to do that. Lastly, let us talk to why Parsaris is now being recalled. Parsaris is being recalled because she tried to bring an election, she tried to bring a law that addressed the issue of Mandamano. But then, let us be sincere. Let us be sincere. And that is why I'm also for the idea, and I'll offer myself to be in a part of the national discussion. Because if we have to be very sincere, uh, the Gen Z, the initial demonstration that was done by Gen Z was very good. But then people like Sakaja, when they came in with their goons, and I sorry, I'm sick. So I have to ask myself, every time I go to town, I see a lot of Kanjo people there. If Sakaja really wanted to, for security of the business people, because such demonstrations are blocking people from paying taxes, because they'll not pay taxes for that time to the county government. He has a full force. He has a police force. that is called the Law Enforcement Department. Why can't he just have them in uniform? They are also trained in riot issues. Why didn't he just do that? I would sincerely wish that because the whole thing was brought about by Parsaris wanting to bring in a law that deals with demonstrations. I would also want to have it in such a way that people do demonstrate. People do demonstrate the way the Gen Z had their initial demonstration. That is why we should go there. But when we have people like Sakaja coming to water down everything the way it is, then we are really spoiling for it. Uh, those are my few remarks which I made in good faith. I do wish that in the future we solve our problems amicably.